Morning, 16th of November 2025. We just parked up at Overbeck Bridge on the shores of Wast Water, where today we're just doing a small route but a very iconic route. We're doing Yewbarrow by the very epic Bell Rib and the notorious Stirrup Crag. You'll remember over a year ago now I'd done a similar route with my friend Simon, but I took the easy option down off Yewbarrow because I had Billy. As you can see, Billy's still in recovery. This is no route for a dog, to be honest. You'll remember back then Simon done Stirrup Crag, and we decided when we met up on Dore that Stirrup Crag wasn't really suitable for big dogs. So I thought, while Billy's still recuperating, I'll come back and do Stirrup Crag. Billy, by the way, is doing fantastic. He's getting 2 walks every single day, small walks from home, and then the odd occasional slightly longer walk on the grassy hills, as you've seen from my video last week on Sale Fell. He'll be back with me next week. So we head out the car park and we are now heading up the very steep flanks of Yewbarrow. To my left we've got Dropping Crag, to my right Bell Rib. Our route is somewhere in between them. Yewbarrow has 2 summits. The first summit is our Wainwright summit and also a Burkitt. The second summit, the north top Stirrup Crag, is a Burkitt. We'll head through Great Dore and Bull Crag. As you can see, the initial pull up from the car park's steep, but we're not far away from hitting the crags. Absolute beautiful morning. The weather's all over the place again. We've had a deluge of rain all week, floods, wind, gales, but today was promised to be a good one, so I saved my walk for today rather than yesterday, which was Saturday. I'll probably be out again Tuesday this week with our lad Billy Boy. Straight ahead of me in the distance past Dropping Crag is Red Pike and Black Crag, and this little known ridge here coming down from Red Pike is Waswater Crag and Knot Ends. Behind that ridge is Middle Fell, dropping down to the lake shore, and the other side of the lake we got Waswater screes. Head through this last gate and we're going to start to ascend the crags. Once we pop out into the sunshine here, just below the summit of Yewbarrow, you'll hit a point where you can see Wast Water. Yewbarrow is north, straight ahead of us, and Bell Rib is south. We're going to head down the rib of Bell Rib just for a look, as it's a fantastic view. Little bit of a scramble. And we're just on the rib of Bell Rib, and what a view you get from up here. That's Bell Rib across this big ravine, and it means a tricky little scramble onto it, so we don't need to do that today. We'll head back to the main path and continue our ascent up Yewbarrow. This little detour was really just to show you Bell Rib. The views are starting to open up across Waswater now. Across the way there we've got Scarfell, Scarfell Pike and Lingmel. Another little bit of scrambling. Not too bad though, kind of go around it. Look at these views. We can now see past the Scarfells and Lingmel, dropping down into Lingmel Beck and then back up to Great Gable. The cairn's marking the start of the ridge and the summit's just a little higher up. We're just approaching Yewbarrow's first summit now. Here we are, Yewbarrow's Wainwright summit, 628 metres. It's a Wainwright, a Burkitt, a Hewitt, a Nuttall and a Hump. And what a fantastic view you get from up here. I'll give you the 360. Scarfell, Scarfell Pike, Lingmel, Great Gable, Kirkfell, Pillar, Red Pike, Scourtfell, Sea Talon, Middlefell. Beyond Waswater, the Irish Sea. From Yewbarrow's first summit, we'll continue north along the top to the North Summit, or the Stirrup Crag Summit, and then we'll drop down Stirrup Crag into Dore Head. Halfway between the two summits you'll see this traverse path here dropping down to my left. If you didn't like scrambling, you didn't fancy Bell Rib, and you didn't fancy Stirrup Crag, that traverse path is your easy route up and down Yewbarrow. Drops down to Dore Head. The day I done Yewbarrow with Simon, when he done Stirrup Crag, I took that path. I have a YouTube video featured in it. We'll continue to the North Summit. Not too far now. The little pool here between the two summits has a thin layer of ice on it. Yewbarrow's north top, or Stirrup Crag, 616 metres. It's a Hewitt, a Nuttall and a Burkitt. There you go. The big cairn here at the end of the ridge marks our exit off the end of the mountain. Via the notorious Stirrup Crag. Keep heading north and you'll eventually find the crag, because there's nothing else you're gonna find this way. Other than a steep drop into the abyss. The path's cleared enough as you start heading down. Straight ahead of us there is Pillar, and over the other side of Dore, red pike. There's the first of hopefully a few more cairns, and there's our descent. A bit of down scrambling. Some steep drops, so pick your easiest ones or your hardest, whichever you feel like. I'm going to head down off the right hand side here. Just down here, down onto this ledge, and then I'm going to climb down to the cairn below me. So that's us down Stirrup Crag, an absolute fantastic scramble, and we're going to drop down from Dore screes into the valley of Overbeck, just here to our left. So what's my opinion of Stirrup Crag then? I have done it once before, but it's a lot of years ago, so I'd almost forgotten what it was like. Coming down, there's quite a lot of down climbs. I don't really think coming down or going up would be much different as far as difficultness goes. For a dog though, as I said earlier, I think it's one to be treated with an air of caution. I mean, there is a lot of steep drop-offs. If you weren't concentrating, you could badly hurt yourself. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I absolutely loved it. The rest of our route is a nice gentle stroll down the valley. So there it is to my left now, the entire ridge of Yewbarrow, starting from the Bell Rib side, heading across the two summits, and then back down Stirrup Crag into Dore. Time to get them walking poles back out my bag. I've not needed them all morning due to the amount of scrambling on Yewbarrow, but this is the kind of ground that catches me out. We don't want any snapped ankles. We're almost down Overbeck now. Once you hit the wall in the bottom here, don't go through the little gate. The footpath drops down this side of the wall, and then you cross the bridge in the bottom. And this bridge will put us on the other side of the valley where we set off from this morning. So there's actually two bridges in the bottom here. This one's fallen to pieces, and then there's a one further down there in much better condition, but for some reason you can't get to that one, so we've got to cross this one. Yeah, I don't understand that one at all, to be quite honest with you. That bridge doesn't serve any purpose for a walker, maybe just a farmer, eh? Anyhow, we're back on the other side, on the path, and heading through this gate. We're not too far from the van now, so I'm going to wrap the video up here. Been an absolute fantastic walk. It's not a long walk, in total only about 4.5 miles, but lots of scrambling. As I said earlier, Bell Rib and Stirrup Crag aren't really for the faint-hearted. If you're big into your scrambling, you're going to love them. If you don't like exposure and drops, you're probably going to hate them. Use that traverse path that I showed you in between the two summits if you just want to bag the Wainwright without having to scare yourself to death on the crags. Once again, our lad Billy's been a big miss, but the longer I keep him away from hard ground, I think the better. But he is ready to get back into some medium kind of walking, so he'll definitely be along next time. If you like the content, please think about giving me a subscribe. So it's bye from me, and it's bye from me. Today's walk starts from Overbeck Bridge National Trust car park on the shores of Wast Water. We head out the car park and started to steeply ascend the flanks of Yewbarrow, scrambling our way through the crags of Bell Rib and then onto the Wainwright summit of Yewbarrow. We continued our ascent crossing Yewbarrow's Wainwright summit and head along the ridge to the north top or Stirrup Crag top. We then steeply scrambled our way down Stirrup Crag to Dore Head. From Dore Head we dropped into Gosforth Moss and into the valley of Overbeck, where we then continued our route back to the car.